How can someone be both ugly and hot at the same time? Google ugly hot and see the likes of Woody Harrelson, Pete Davidson, Adam Driver, Mick Jagger. And many still pics, one would think, yeah, not so hot. But then you watch them in motion and you're like, wow, so hot. How do they do that? Find out their secret to help you be more attractive and find better connections this week on the Blue Ball Report. Welcome to the Blue Ball Report. I'm your host, Digger. Woody Harrelson is particularly interesting. I thought he was hot for ages, but then when I stopped and looked at a portrait of his face, I realized, he's not so handsome at all. Mick Jagger is another example, the ultimate ugly hot. Proof that you don't need to be handsome to be hot. So then, what makes these guys so attractive if they're not handsome? Turns out there's a lot more to attraction than good looks. Our subconscious picks up on a lot of nonverbal cues that tell us a lot about people. We tend to be attracted to powerful and charismatic people, and power is conveyed in body language, facial expressions, and voice. People tend to like people who like themselves, and we pick that up subconsciously. So if you want people to like you, it really helps to like yourself. Confidence is a social power, and confident people attract more attention, which means more opportunities for friends, lovers, and more. It's a big part of charisma, and it'll help you get more out of life. You could be that confident person no matter who you are and no matter what you look like. Don't believe me? Look to the ugly hot. And look to our moron president, who really has no reason to be confident. He's not smart. He's not educated. He's not good looking. He's not in good shape. He's not interesting. He's not even nice. And look how confident that moron is. If he can be confident, I don't give a fuck who you are or how ugly you think you can be confident too. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, nor that this one video is your one-stop shop for instant confidence, but the first step is to realize that you deserve confidence and set yourself on a path to gaining it because you deserve it. And you can learn how to be confident. You see, confidence is like a garden. It must be nourished and protected from environmental toxins in order to flourish. And it'll do better in some places over others. The state of your garden differs from others. A lot of it was laid down by your family and community in childhood. Some of us have deeply entrenched weeds from youth that may need professional psychotherapeutic attention to uproot. Regardless, cultivating your garden of confidence is a lifelong task worth the effort. Because if you plan on living, your body's going to age. And like a garden, there are times when your confidence won't be at its best, but you can become an experienced gardener to tend to it when needed and help it flourish even in storms. Here on the Blue Ball Report, my mission is to foster sex positivity and help you enjoy yourself and others socially, romantically, and sexually. If you like the sound of that, then subscribe for regular content to empower your Eros. This is my first entry of an ongoing segment and a playlist called Cultivating Confidence, where we'll explore the myriad of ways to make your garden of confidence flourish. I'll leave a link here and at the end of the video. I want to start with today's focus on one nasty toxin spoiling the confidence of many, and I see it everywhere. I call it toxic judgment. And to cut to the chase, don't judge, Judy. Or even better, be intentional about who and why you are judging. I mean, of course, we need judgment to help us discern right from wrong, healthy from unhealthy, and safe from unsafe. But our culture is rife with toxic judgment that does nothing but promulgate misery onto ourselves and others. Judging people harshly for stupid stuff like their looks, fashion, body size, body type, age, etc. I mean, do those things really matter? And aren't you planning on growing old yourself? Watch and listen to the judgments around and within you and reflect on each one as it happens. Is that a useful judgment or a toxic judgment? Is it helping you and others find joy and avoid pain, or is that judgment simply causing more pain? Sometimes we may use harsh judgments against others as a short-sighted way of making ourselves feel better in the moment because, well, at least we're not them. But this has a dark side, a karma that comes soon because we'll suffer our own toxic judgment against ourselves. Let me give you an example. One time, my roommates had some guests. Two handsome, muscle-merry gay boys came to visit, and they were telling me about their trip to the gay bar and kept complaining of the old trolls that were there. With so much disgust and disdain, it seemed as though they regarded all old men as old trolls. And this is a common refrain you may be familiar. Now, I've seen plenty of young men trolling about too, and plenty of very decent respect for old men, so being a troll is not limited to old men. This toxic judgment certainly didn't serve the older men they were harshly judging, and it may have made the young queens feel better in the moment. But what happens when these hot young men get old and watch their body age? They're gonna wake up one day, look in the mirror with disgust to find an old troll looking back at themselves. Okay, they could pay for all sorts of plastic surgery, but look at some of these famous people addicted to plastic surgery. Not a good look. And all that does is delay the inevitable. The point is, they would become the victim of their own harsh judgment against old trolls, resulting in a self-afflicted self-hatred. You see, the harsh judgment we project onto the world, we impose and suffer upon ourselves. And for what benefit? There are much more important reasons to judge people, like their behavior, their values or lack of, their voting record. Now that I've grown into my daddyhood, I see a lot of self-loathing queers that perpetuate the nastiness given to them by society. Sadly, I often see it in circles of monograde, beautiful men who look in the mirror and, like the gay version of anorexia, judge their bodies and their friends as never big or never muscly enough. Toxic judgment is a toxin in our garden of confidence, and it has to be weeded out and constantly looked for. Watch for it in your environment and either remove yourself from it, find new friends, or neutralize it by standing up to it. I don't want to hear that crap. When you hear it coming from within, then make it a mindfulness practice to just drop it and move on. There are many tips to cultivate confidence, and today we'll cover just this one because it's so important. This week, keep a mindful eye out for judgments within and around you. You'll see it everywhere in media, advertisements, movies, conversations, and probably in your own head. Reflect. Does that judgment serve anyone, or is it just toxic? If it's toxic, how are you going to weed it out to protect your garden of confidence? I'm curious, what toxic judgments are you sick of, and how are you going to stop them? Please comment below, and follow the link to more videos to cultivate your confidence. Until next week, remember what Grandma always says: pruning leads to forking.